Welcome to another Demarcation Media Top 10 video. Mega has made a lot of figures over the years. Some of them have been really well received, and some of them, like Poor Lock here, have not been so well received. So what I wanted to do today is I want to go through and look at the absolute best Mega Construx figures of all time. That's actually kind of a lie. What we're going to be doing today is a little different because I was thinking about making this video, and I was thinking about what makes a figure the best. What check boxes does it have to hit to, have the figure be the best? And that honestly could be a lot of different things. Is it the availability? Is it the detailing? Is it the new molds? Is it the character? There's so many things that can make a figure the best. And so objectively, it's really difficult to say, especially narrowing it down into a top 10 list. So what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be going through this a bit more subjectively. This is my best, or not even most favorite, but the best figures in terms of like what figures have stood out to me for one reason or another from Mega, what figures have kind of stuck with me in terms of, I get a lot of Mega figures, which ones do I remember most readily, that sort of thing. So it's going to be a very subjective list, and it's also going to be confined to what I have in my collection. Before we get into it, I just wanted to say I am getting hit pretty hard with the fall allergies, so if I sound a little bit weird, that's why. Without any further ado, let's jump right in. Coming in at number 10 is the SDCC Master Chief Collection Halo 4 Master Chief. So this guy is on this list because when I first kind of started getting to know what Halo was, it was around the Halo 4 and 5 era, and this version of Chief, this armor design, was the definitive Chief for me, and it still kind of is in a lot of ways. I really love this armor design, and I know that's a bit of a controversial opinion because a lot of people loved the Halo 2 and 3 design, a lot of people love the CE design, and I think the general opinion is that the Halo 2 and 3 Chief is the definitive Chief. However, for me, this armor is the definitive Chief. When I think of Master Chief, this is kind of the first thing I think of, and this guy in particular is just really good. I mean, first of all, he comes with the painted railgun, which is fantastic, looks pulled straight out of the game, and then on top of that, the head is done super well. The visor is so nice, and then the silver dry brushing all over is fantastic. He's even got a little bit more here for the scar. And then the color was one that Mega had not really done before for the Halo 4 Chief. All the other ones had been more green, and this one is a more muted, dulled down version that looks straight out of the game, and I absolutely love it. So with those things in mind, this guy takes the number 10 slot. Number 9 is the Halo Heroes Series 6 Helljumper. This guy came in right on the tail of the infamous Series 5, which meant there were some pretty big shoes to fill, and I'm not sure that series really quite lived up to the Series 5 hype. However, this guy is one of the coolest Halo heroes ever, in my opinion. I don't know that we've ever gotten a figure that is as loud and proud as this one. I mean, look at these colors. Bright neon pink with the white accents and then the extra blue. It just looks so good. In addition to that, we have a railgun that actually has a translucent rail. You can kind of see the light in there. The only downside is that the handle is a translucent color as well, just to make sure that the print didn't scrape. That was kind of a bummer, but other than that, this guy is just cool. I mean, it's a Helljumper armor, which is awesome, and it's in bright pink. I mean, how could you not like this figure? It's utterly fantastic, and the printing is just super clean all over, and it literally almost every surface is printed, and that is super fantastic. This is a must-have in my opinion. The number 8 spot is taken by Sergeant Johnson from the Banished Marauder set, or the Banished Marauder versus the Green Machine, which is a very odd set. I have a review about it if you want to go and watch that. I'll pop the little card up. But yeah, this guy is honestly, not a lot of people may agree with me, I don't know, but I think this guy is better than the Series 5 Johnson. He looks really good, and he is very similar, except the head is the one exception. The head is different, and the eyes are more defined. And they also print his mustache like a little crooked to give him that expression that he's always got. The main downside is he doesn't have his UNSC symbol on his hat. But other than that, I would say that this guy is better than the Halo Heroes Series 5 Johnson, and is at least equal to the new Elephant Johnson, if not surpassing him a little bit. He's got all the details. He's got the printed chest plate. He's got the printed boots. He's just really good. And then if you pair that with a printed AR, or in this case, a custom painted AR, you have a recipe for literally the perfect Sergeant Johnson figure. And if you don't have a Sergeant Johnson, this is the one to get. If you can find him for a decent price. Johnson just tends to be a little expensive in general. But yeah, this one's definitely my favorite, and that earns him the number 8 spot on this list. Coming in at number 7, we have Spartan Ven from Halo Heroes Series 17. Now, this figure is kind of pretty darn inaccurate. It has the wrong shoulders for Ven, has the wrong helmet for Ven, or not the wrong helmet, but the wrong attachment. This should be a Stormfall and not a Gungnir. It should not have the attachment. It should just have those dorky little eyeballs, and it should have different shoulders. And this should also be a female, and it is not. So in my mind, this is more of a generic Mark VII with a cool coating, but that coating is the reason why I even put it on this list in the first place. The camo covers literally the whole figure, all of the armor, all the way through, and it looks so good, like so good. I absolutely love it. I think it looks fantastic, and got a fantastic sniper rifle as well. Great, just generic color scheme. You can use it for anybody. Yeah, I like this one a lot. I think it's great, and I think it also has great pop and swap potential, because you could use the camo forearms and legs to add on to another Spartan and add that flare, or maybe just the shoulders and the leg armors, or maybe the chest plate. I don't know. There's just a lot of potential here, and Mega put in a lot of work, and I think it's fantastic. So because of all of that, Ven comes in at number 7. So you may have noticed that thus far, the figures on this list have only been UNSC. And that's just because I tend to prefer UNSC figures. I really like all the Spartans. I really like Marines. I really like just all of the good guy characters, really. And the bad guy characters don't appeal to me much as figures. Just, I get them because it's nice to have cannon fodder. It's nice to have different types of enemies to stick into the background of stuff and have them fight the Spartans and whatnot. So I'm in the camp of people that want more Spartans in the Halo Heroes series and less enemy figures. However, this guy right here, this dude is one of my favorite elite figures of all time. It's just so clean. He comes from the Garrison pack, and he has a perfect red and silver color scheme, perfectly matching the Banished, because he is a Banished elite. He's the most Banished looking elite out of all of the ones in the Infinite line. He has the newer hands, which those can be hit or miss, but the printing on the chest is utterly fantastic, and literally my only wish is that he had some printing on the helmet to kind of match that, maybe just a single stripe. Other than that, though, I absolutely love this guy. I think he is fantastic. He kind of serves as a leader for my plain red elites, because you can get some of those. Those are harder to get. Honestly, I think it would be easier to build a squad of these guys than it would be to build a squad of the plain red guys. But yeah, Really highly recommend you get yourself at least one of these if you don't have one already. And because he just looks so incredibly awesome, he has earned the number 6 spot on this list. Coming to the halfway point, we have at number 5 the Mongoose Outriders Scorpion Punch Anubis. Now, this is the second Scorpion Punch figure we've had, and I was honestly tempted to put that guy on this list, the original Halo Heroes Scorpion Punch. However, there's just something about this figure that doesn't really have much print. There's no fancy decaling or decoration or anything. It's just plain gray. But the balancing, the fact that the visor is purple, oh, it's just so good. The gray, the low contrast with the undersuit, the way that the head is printed up, the purple visor, the orange arm, it's just so good. And we've got one of the new sidekicks, which is super cool. And then on top of that, look at that robotic leg. That is also really slick and makes this Spartan kind of extra unique, because it adds not only a little bit more contrast in a low contrast figure, but also we haven't really gotten Halo Infinite Spartans with prosthetics, aside from that crummy arm, which we're not really going to talk about. So this to me just really makes him stand out, and I just really like it. I really like it. I don't know why, it just really stuck with me. But yeah, this guy's from the Mongoose Outriders set, which unfortunately is still very difficult to get. But if you have the chance to get your hands on this guy, I highly recommend it, because it's hard to beat this guy. And because of that, he comes in number 5. Number 4 is the best ODST that Mega has ever made. And that really is my opinion. I do think that this guy right here is one of the best ODSTs Mega has ever made. Yes, the Hive Exterminators ODSTs are so good. And the new Alpha 9 is pretty darn good too. I almost put some of the Exterminators ODSTs in this list, but I feel like maybe they'll come in a different video. But this guy right here, to me, is not only a perfect ODST, but also a perfect representation of what Mega can do with the Halo line. My only complaint here is the fact that he doesn't have any gray or darker gray on the little chest plate pieces. But other than that, this guy's really nice. That stone gray is perfect. He's got the red print on his arms to indicate that he's a captain. The camo on the lower arms and the thigh armor is just so good. And then he's got the battle rifle and the newer backpack. And his visor is this purple blue that's super shiny and nice. I mean, how can you not like this? This is perfect. This is perfection right here. Literally. I almost bumped him up higher on the list, but there's a couple other figures that took those slots, and we'll see those in a minute. But this dude this is peak ODST right here. And you can get this guy from the newer Hornet set, the one with Sergeant Stacker, which was a pretty well distributed set. So if you don't have this guy already, highly recommend you go and get one, because it's just that good. Number 3 is the Halo 4 Heavy Marine, specifically this color scheme. Don't really know what to call this one. Like, I don't know if there's anything specific to denote this color scheme. However, this guy came from a odd pack that was like UNSC Weapons Pack 2, I believe. And he came in 2 variants, the old articulation version and the new articulation version. This is obviously the new articulation version, because he's got like the arm joints that can move out, and you know, they're not too hard to differentiate. But the set had the 2 versions, which meant getting this version was pretty hard, because there's more of the old articulation versions than there is the new. So this guy is pretty darn rare. Just in quantity, not just in price. Like, he's a little bit expensive, but just finding him is hard. But he looks so good. He's got the brown printed on the inside of the legs. He's got the brown printed on the chest, both front and back. And he's got a backpack to match. His helmet has a really cool green visor and like a silver breather section, and then a mount for, I guess, night vision or whatever up there. He's just really nice, and it's a super nice shade of green as well. The brown undersuit also contrasts nicely. I have this guy armed with a Hydra right now because that was a Halo 4 and 5 weapon. However, originally this guy would have come with like a painted up DMR and something like that. So you can kind of do whatever in terms of weapons. But yeah, this guy is super cool, and this is honestly one of my favorite Marine types from Mega. I even like them in Halo 4 and Halo 5. I think they look pretty darn cool, but also just in Mega form, he looks so good. I mean, look at that. How can you not like that? That's kind of fantastic. So yeah, I highly recommend you track one of these guys down, but that's easier said than done. I have taken quite a long time to amass. I think I have 12 of these guys, and let me tell you, that was not entirely easy, and it was only thanks to Mega Burb that I was even able to start collecting these guys in the first place. So yeah, really like this one. All right, we are down to the final two, and in the number 2 slot, we have the Battle for the Ark Blind Bag Marine. So this guy comes in number 2 because this was the guy that got me into Mega Construx. He was the first figure that I ever got. Well, not this specific one. The one that I did get was kind of weathered. I weathered him and gave him like a top coat, so he didn't look exactly like he did out of the package, but it was the same type of figure. That blind bag series was the first thing that I started buying from Mega, and this was the first figure. So without this guy, this channel would not exist. And I just think he's a really sharp looking figure. He just really is perfect. The green, the gray, the head, the masked head is so good. I absolutely love it. It's perfect. I love Halo Wars Marines. And then he comes armed with just a normal AR, the kind without the rail. Hard to go wrong with that. Would have been nice to get a backpack, but that's really nitpicking because he looks great without it. So yeah, highly recommend you pick up one of these guys, or at least just one of a type of Halo Wars Marine, because Halo Wars Marines are almost as good as those Halo 4 Heavy Marines. And then in the number 1 spot, probably surprising no one, is the Halo Heroes Series 13 Mark VII. So this might not be the most unique figure in the world. It might not be the most painted up figure in the world, but this guy, from the minute that I got him, when I was reviewing Halo Heroes Series 13, he just really stuck out to me. Something about the blue and the silver paired with that like low contrast gray, and the fact that it's Mark VII, but it's not just simple Mark VII, it's like beefed up Mark VII. It's just good. It's just so good, and he instantly became probably my favorite figure of all time. Not gonna lie. I mean, like, he's my channel mascot now. He's basically the Spartan that I use to represent me, and so for me, this guy has stuck out pretty much beyond all other Mega Construx figures, and that earns him the number 1 spot in this list. Subjectively, he is the best. Objectively, maybe not. I mean, it could be argued that there are other better figures, but to me, this is as good as it gets. It helps too that he just happened to pretty much perfectly match my channel colors, which was a huge bonus, and yeah, he's just really good. You can get him decently easily still. He's not really a rare figure. He's not an expensive figure, but he is my absolute favorite, and that is the number 1 figure. He also comes armed with a Bulldog, which is not the same as the one from the Scorpion Punch Spartan, which is interesting. He's got like a printed up drum and everything, so it's pretty cool. Really love this guy. He is my favorite. He is the best. As I said at the beginning of the video, Mega has made a ton of great figures, so I wanted to give a little bit of attention to a few honorable mentions, so to speak. This Agent Locke is one of them. I really like this figure, despite the fact that he is a shelf warmer and you can find him literally everywhere. I think he's super cool. He's unique in kind of the lineup of Halo figures and the lineup of Marines. I mean, those ultra buff arms are hilarious, and they make him look almost anime-esque. And the head's done really well, and the fact that he's kind of got the asymmetrical look with his ODST armor, like half on, half off, it's just cool. I just really like him. I've had a ton of fun taking photos of him, just bringing him with me. His kind of survivalist look really appeals to me. I think yeah, I think he's super cool, and he almost made the list, but he couldn't quite make the list, and I wasn't sure if I could justify putting him on the list with the amount of people that don't like him as much as I do. Like I said, the UNSC figures appeal to me the most, but I had to drop this guy in as an honorable mention. This is the Arbiter from the Arbiter's Quest set. That wash is the heaviest wash that Mega has done on a figure in a long time, and it looks brilliant and makes this Arbiter so good. I think this is basically the definitive Arbiter. There's other good ones like the Verse Pack Arbiter and the Halo Heroes Series 5 Arbiter, but in terms of just sheer awesomeness, this is the definitive Arbiter. The only downside is that those hands tend to be kind of fragile, as I mentioned before, but if you do happen to have one of these awesome painted up plasma rifles, it is rubbery, and though I hate the rubber, it does help when you've got hands that tend to be fragile, and it keeps them from snapping. So if you don't already have one of these Arbiters, go ahead and get one. There's plenty of them out there. The amount of people that bought Arbiter's Quests just for more Banshees and want to get rid of the Arbiter is pretty high, so I don't think you'll have much trouble getting a hold of this one. And the last honorable mention for this video is this Elite Ranger, the Crimson Elite Ranger. I'm going to be totally honest and say I actually don't remember what blind bag series this came in. I know it came in a blind bag series, but that's about all I remember. But this kind of dark red, it's kind of a dark glossy red, looks super cool, and then paired with that blue visor and the silver like breather prints, it's just awesome. And the Rangers look really cool. I know this is like a Halo 4 and 5 Ranger, and again, those are controversial designs, but in my opinion, it looks pretty fantastic. And then if you pair it with this plasma carbine from the Master Chief versus Arbiter pack, that adds even more, and it just makes this an all-around epic figure. So kind of hard to get. This is one of the tougher to get figures on this list, just because the Elite Rangers, there was few of them, and they're a bit far between and kind of difficult to get for a decent price. But if you can find one, highly recommend it. He's really cool. Well, there you have it. That is my top 10 best Mega Construx figures. And again, this wasn't necessarily actually like the best produced or the most available or the most detailed. It was actually just the ones that for me stood out the most, the ones that when I'm like, what do I want to take a photo of? These guys come to mind first. I go back to them again and again. Some of these figures, like this guy, I've taken so many pictures of. I've done quite a handful of photos with this guy as well. I've done a few photos with this guy. So they're just figures that I come back to again and again because I just really like them. And like I said, I have kind of personal reasons for liking each one. And I am sure that your opinions on what the best Mega figures are will vary greatly from mine. So what I want you guys to do is go down in the comments, give me a list of the top 10 best Mega figures in your collection. Make a list down in the comments and I will take a look at all of them, because I'm really curious to see what you guys think are the best. And if you want to, go ahead and put why you think they're the best too. And do you agree with my list? Do you disagree? Where do you disagree? Why? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.